Hello everyone, my name is Audrey and I'm happy to do this presentation for you. One of the many things that I learned from 40-hour teacher work week was just to simplify and to identify problems and to think of solutions creatively that will help me to not only save time but also to save mental space. And this is exactly what this organizing of my science supplies has done for me. It actually has done way more for me than I expected. I started out just kind of needing to be able to do my science experiments quickly. I needed to be able to gather all the supplies and know where they were. And I was like digging through boxes, and it kind of started out, I was a teacher of a self-contained classroom, so that was a bit easier. And then my job kind of changed, and then I was doing science courses for multiple grades, and I was all the time needing to figure out soil samples for this class, or slides and microscopes for this class, or experiments with purifying water for this class. And you have all these supplies, craft supplies, but then also more sciencey things that I needed to do. And at first I tried doing like the major science things, like a life science box and an earth and space science box and a physical science box. And that worked for a while until I got too many things and they wouldn't all fit in little boxes. And then I would just get another box and start filling it up. And then not the beginning of this school year, but the beginning of last school year, I decided I was going to take everything out of all the boxes, and I had a bunch of tables, banquet tables lined up in my room, and I just started putting them in categories that made sense to me. The big categories still made sense. The physical science things all went in one area. The earth science things all went in one area. The life science things all went in one area. And then I just kind of made these big categories. And then I labeled as I went, and then I could start to see kind of the piles that would fit into different boxes. And then I had a sheet of paper by each box. And as I filled each box, I wrote down what was in that box. And then when I got all those papers all together, then I went to my computer and I typed in on just it wasn't Excel because I'm not that great at Excel, but it was like a Word document where you have a chart. I think it's a chart that it's called. But you can put in the columns and then you can alphabetize them. So I had box number 1 contains all these things, and then box number 2 contains all these things, and so on. And then I could sort it by box. I could say I want all my box number 1 in alphabetical order. And that's kind of how I did it all the way through. I don't remember how many boxes I have, maybe 11 boxes. And it's so interesting and so helpful to me because I don't have to keep any of that in my brain. And I think that's why I like it best. It isn't like I can tell you, oh, the slides are in box number 5, because I would have no idea what's in box number 5. But if I open up my cupboard and I look at box number 5, it lists everything that's in that box. And then I also have a master list that's taped on the inside of one of my cupboards that says that everything's alphabetical. And if I don't remember where the owl pellets are, I can look up owl pellet and it will tell me exactly which box I should be looking in. And it's also fun for me when colleagues of mine they have something that they need. Mrs. Misiura, I'm short, 2 paper bags for our craft. Do you have any? And it's like, I do. I know exactly where that is, and I can get that for you right now. So I'm going to take you on a little tour and actually show you some of the boxes, and maybe that will make the system more clear to you. It's not perfect, and I feel like that's why it works so well, is because I'm not trying to make it perfect. I'm not trying to make it so that I have an exact number. It's not an inventory that I know the exact numbers of everything. It's just to help me to know where the things are. So this is just an idea that has worked for me. Hopefully it will help you out as well. Okay, so here is where I have some of my boxes. These are 1, 2, 3, and 4, it looks like. These are the ones that are more crafty things, more of the things that I used when I had a self-contained classroom. And these are just the categories that developed when I had all the things on those banquet tables and I was just putting like things like together. So this one turned out to be kind of a mathy thing. It has like the measuring tape and the spinners for some math games that I had created, and I don't know, bean balls, dice, things like that. These were like paper crafty things, just more foam stuff, and this is calligraphy ink and pom-poms and stuff like that. But anyway, this is the more crafty stuff. I have more of the sciencey stuff in other cupboards, but I just wanted to show you, as you can see, it's not perfect, but it isn't its perfection that makes it useful. It's actually that I can find what I need. And I have, is just my little chart that I made on Word. So I just had box number and then what it is, and then you can just, at the top of this, you just tell it to put it in alphabetical order, and it goes in there. When I get things and I put them in a different box, I'll just write it on there, so then I know. And then each box also has that same list, and then when I add more things to it, then I put it on that list. So that's kind of how that goes. Okay, I'm going to show you something else now. Okay, so this is where I have my master list, and this has all the items that are alphabetical. So aluminum foil is in box 2, balloon pump box 3, and so on. So if I was thinking, I wonder where my dice are. I can look up dice, it's in box number 4. I wonder where my light bulbs are. Oh, they're in box number 7. Or my filter paper, or my foam pieces. So it's very helpful to have something like this just so that I can look at it. I also have one of these in my desk drawer too, so I can just pull open my desk and it's just right in there. So when I'm doing my planning, I can figure out where all my things are. So I just wanted to just go on Word and just show you kind of how I made that chart. It may be that you already know how to do this. It's pretty basic, but I just thought I would show you. I think in the other part of the video I called it a chart, but it's actually a table. So I go up here to table and I just, start it out like that. And then I think I put box number and then item, I think. I don't even think I had a third one, so I'm going to get rid of, I can delete the column and just get rid of that. And then say I'm just putting some things in box number 1 and I have dice. And then box number 1 I also have, whatever, markers. Oh, I'm going to caps lock on that. That'll be fine. Maybe I have, rubber balls, maybe. And something like, let's see, what else do I have in that box? I have rulers, I think, in there. So then I'd probably make the header rows bold, and then you can do all the things you do in these kind of tables, right? And then what's interesting, so you can highlight a column and you can tell it you want to alphabetize. And it usually says, yeah, my list has a header row, so you want to just make sure that so it leaves the header row up there. But see, then everything's alphabetized. And then once you have all these columns, and you can also sort it by the numbers as well. I wanted to show you how I did my master list. So this is my master list with the box numbers and the item description, and it's all sorted by alphabetical order and by box number. And then I also created a different one this is the one that's alphabetical master. So starts with A and B, but then it pulls out which box it's in. And these are the charts that I have posted on the inside door of my cupboards so that I can find the item that I'm looking for really fast. And I also, like I said, I have them printed and I have them in my drawer right here, so that when I'm planning a lesson, I can know where to find them and where to pull them out from. So hopefully that helps. These are more of the sciencey things. So I have box number 8, and then there's 6, and there's 5. And then this is my snack cupboard, because when you're a teacher, you always have to have snacks. So like insect collection, these are, I don't know, like Petri dishes, filter paper, eyedropper, Bunsen burner. And then this is kind of fun, just all the different kinds of cups. If you're a science teacher, you know that all these experiments you have to have cups. And some of them I reuse, so I had to put this little note here that it's for science experiments, not for beverages, so somebody doesn't use a spoon that I used for stirring up soil samples to stir up their coffee, right? So I have the same idea, though. I have the labels on the outside of these cupboards, so if I'm looking for something, I can tell right away what it is. And then if we had to have something new for an experiment, thermometer strips, so I tucked them in the same box as the other thermometers, so it's super helpful. And then this is just like electricity stuff, Christmas decorations. It's all the same kind of idea. Now, it's a new curriculum for 4th grade, so there's this experiment, the one where you put the rubber band in there and you spin it around, and then you put a pencil in it, and then the car moves around on the floor. So I got these spools, and I'm trying to decide where I should put them. I could put them in with physical science stuff, but like with the magnets and stuff, but it just doesn't feel like that's where I would look for them if I was wanting wooden spools. So I decided that I would put them in the crafty area where I have like the wooden dowels, and I have clothespins, things like that. So I'm just going to go dump them in there and then write it on my list. And as you can see, it's just very simple, and it has been a game changer for me. And this is why I'm able to go home at a decent hour. I'm not here at the school till 9, 10 o'clock at night like I used to be before 40-hour work week. And there's just been a lot of things I've been able to do because I'm not at school all the time. So that's what I hope for you. It's a lot better to be balanced. And so my encouragement is to find those systems. It takes a little bit of work in the front end, but boy, it's really nice once you know where you can find things. Real quick, I wanted to show you the supplies that we have in our junior high school area. My colleague up here that teaches science, I actually have a couple of colleagues up here that have organized this cupboard. I wanted to just show you some other ideas, how they do it. Our chemistry teacher likes to organize by chapter, so she has chemistry chapter 1 through 5 is in this box, and then 6, 7, and 8 is there. And I'm not sure how all of her other stuff are organized, but it works for her. And actually, when I first started my organizing all my science stuff, I did that too. I started with a 5th grade chapter 1, 5th grade chapter 2, but I found that, at least in the lower grades, I used the same supplies for a certain chapter in 4th grade, certain chapter in 5th grade, certain chapter in 6th grade. So it didn't really end up working out for me, but I think it works out well for our chemistry teacher. And then we have, some different chemicals. These get locked, of course. And then over here is where we have our microscopes. There's some slides, mortar and pestle. And as you can see, we can find whatever we need. We work really well together to share supplies and know how all that goes. And I can show you over there too, there's some more places we store stuff. Okay, and then over here we have different labels on the outside of the cupboards and some safety equipment. And then here's where we store our glass where our different flasks and different measuring things, graduated cylinders and different things. And then, of course, you have to have all the measuring devices, eyewear. This is how, in our school, how we have decided to organize all those kinds of things, because we have multiple teachers kind of sharing the equipment, and we have a central place where we put it, and we all know where everything is, and it's super fun to work together and simple. It keeps things simple. So I just wanted to leave you with some just final tips. A couple of the things that I've learned throughout this process is that the medium-sized boxes work really well, because if I have to take things out and look through them, they're boxes that are easy for me to handle. They're not too heavy. And I also have left room in the boxes because we're always adding more things to them. And if there's a little bit of room, then things will fit, and you don't have to pack them super full because it's just easier to find things that way. And then also to label as you go. So like I did when we got the new little wooden spools, you have to find a place for it right away and then get that labeled. And it's super easy that way to keep up with the system. Like I said, I put this together, not this beginning of this school year, but the beginning of last school year. And I have done hardly any maintenance except for just adding things to it. And hopefully that will help you to have some systems in your classroom as to how you can find your supplies.